안녕하세요. 제 이름 Jorel Batak입니다. My name is Jorel Batak, and I am an esports scholastic instructional coach and director of the Scholastic Fellow Program. I'm based out of the Orange County Department of Ed, based in Southern California, but I also work primarily for the North America Scholastic Esports Federation. And I wanted to take a moment to introduce who we are and also to help support the Korean Scholastic Esports Federation and their work in Incheon City. NASEF is ultimately an organization that is based out of the US to really help support the growth of 21st century learning skills for all students around the globe. And so we really are a community of partners working together to really establish these opportunities through the love and passion of gaming and esports for students to be successful in their community as well as their overall careers. We originally started in 2018 in Orange County with a small pilot of 25 high schools and about 38 teams, and recently, we've now calculated how many clubs we have worldwide, and there's about close to 2,000 clubs across 51 states in 3 North American countries, 14,000 students, and also present in about 21 different countries. And we've expanded through our affiliate program, which is constantly growing by the day. And you'll find that we have 25 US-based affiliates as well as 10 global affiliates, which South Korea is part of. And so we have been helping support Samha and his work with KSEF through the Korea Scholastic Esports Federation. Now, I wanted to take a moment to introduce what Scholastic Esports means. Now, if you look at the research here in the US, you'll find that about half of all adults play games of some form or another. But what they also found is that almost 100% of all teens are playing games. And so that really caused us to question, what do we mean and how can we utilize esports for learning? And if you look in the US specifically, there are now multiple colleges across the nation that are offering esports scholarships for both the players as well as all the different careers surrounding the esports ecosystem, which I'll talk about in a second. And ultimately what we're doing is utilizing esports as an intentional vehicle for learning. And that's ultimately meeting kids where they are, because we know that they're playing games, they're talking about games, they're watching streams of games. So how can we utilize games for learning? And so we've based everything that we've done in NASEF around research specifically. Our partners at the Connected Learning Lab with Dr. Constance Steinkühler, who actually used to serve on the Obama administration around game policy, is now the professor of informatics as well as an esports enthusiast. And what she had done is conducted a meta-analysis of video games and learning and found all these different opportunities for students to really engage with different skills using games as a tool. You'll see that there's visual acuity, things like language and literacy, as well as problem solving and logic and math. Now, overall, we also found that with sports specifically, sports is associated with higher GPA, personal growth, satisfaction with school, right? They're doing well in classes because they want to play. And it's the same with esports. But I think with esports, we have a broader opportunity to include more than just the traditional athlete, right? There's so many students out there that may not necessarily do well in school and may not necessarily want to compete in sports. So esports is a great intersection from that. And so Constance and her team conducted an analysis of NASEF clubs specifically, and what they found is that there was presence of STEM learnings, so that includes science, technology, engineering, and math, and you'll see that here blue means science, green means math, yellow means ELA, and then lastly, which is really interesting, CASEL, which stands for the Collaborative of Social Emotional Learning. What they found was students reported a higher connection to both their peers as well as the teachers and educators and adults in the room. And so using this as a concept, we realized that we can really utilize esports and scholastic esports specifically to help build a culture and a community. And this includes educators, students, families, as well as administrators. And NASEF support this through both our curriculum and club models and resources. And so everything that we've ever done in NASEF has always been supported by a curriculum foundation. And so here in the US, we have what's called standards, things like Common Core, career technical education, NGSS, ISTE, which is the International Science and Technology Standards, as well as what we referred to earlier, the CASEL, which is the Social and Emotional Learning Standards. And essentially, the colleagues at NASEF have basically taken all of these concepts and created what we call the esports ecosystem that you'll see here on the right-hand side. And ultimately, the goal is really to show the value that goes beyond the players in the games. You know, you may think that students are sitting there playing a video game sitting in front of a screen, but when you look at the professional industry, there are multiple career opportunities around things like content creation, entrepreneurship, organizing, and strategy. We've also expanded those domains to include elements of health and well-being because we do see the importance of health and wellness and balancing out both screen time as well as play and learning. And ultimately, we've created multiple resources in curriculum as well as the community and supporting them in creating their own resources. And so you'll find that many clubs, like the BTG Incheon program, are very much structured to allow students to really take ownership of all these different leadership positions. And so NASEF supports educators around the globe through professional development to help create these types of experiences for students. And so you'll see that we've created an entire PD pathway. And this is primarily my work for the Scholastic Fellow Program. And ultimately, we are training teachers and educators around the globe into how to integrate Scholastic Esports into their programs. And so this is our cohort this year, and Samha has actually participated in our fellowship this year and is utilizing his work at KSEF as his main focus. He has access to a global community as well as a broader mentor community to help support the overall growth. And you'll see our growing community here, and we'll continue to grow. So I'm very excited to introduce KSEF's Beyond the Game program. Now, ultimately, the goal here is that the program is an introduction into all the various college and career pathways around the esports ecosystem. So like we talked about, students will have the opportunity to create content, maybe stream, create videos. At the same time, also learn the ins and outs of game design, maybe look at some of the strategy around the games, and then ultimately also play. But really the focus is about all the different jobs and career pathways and opportunities that they can have. So I'm very excited to introduce, and I wish you all luck in the upcoming program, and I look forward to what you all create both in the program as well as in the future. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time, and good luck to everyone at the program. 감사합니다.